Welcome to Arrowhead Provincial Park.
Located just 10 minutes downtown from Huntsville, Arrowhead Provincial Park has it all. The convenience of a city and nearby amenities, beautiful nature with trails to explore, lakes, a river, and even a waterfall. Out of all 13 provincial parks I visited this camping season, Arrowhead is definitely in the top 5, and in this video, I'll show you why you need to add this park to a future camping trip or day trip.
Hey everyone, we are staying at Arrowhead Provincial Park for 3 nights in the fall, and it is absolutely beautiful. This park is located a few hours north of Toronto, and there are about 500 campsites in 4 campgrounds across the park. There is plenty to do here, so whether you like hiking, cycling, or water sports, they have you covered. So let's go on a tour of this beautiful park.
It was a long drive into the park, and when we got to the registration office, there wasn't much parking available if you had an RV. Luckily for us, we arrived at the perfect time and easily found a spot, and I was able to walk right up to the waiting park staff to check in. Arrowhead has a bear warning out to remind campers to keep their sites clean, and you could also purchase wood and ice here at the registration office. Next up was the water filling station, located in the same area as the East River Campground where we were staying. At Arrowhead, the garbage and recycling and the dumping station are all located in the same area, which I think is actually pretty convenient because on your way out, if you're leaving with your trailer, you can toss your garbage and recycling on your way to the dumping station, and if you go to the other side of it, that's where you will find the water hookup.
This is one of the nicer water filling stations we've been to. The hoses here seem to be brand new. There's clamps on them, and there's also a thread.
There were 2 fill-up stations, and vehicles could easily get around on the far side if needed. We are on site 289, and it is a lovely site. It's probably one of my most favorite sites that we've had all season that's not a waterfront site. It's nice and private, and there is tons of room here for our tiny trailer, and we even have our canopy up just in case it rains. If you're staying in the East River Campground, Stubbs Falls is just a short walk away. We are on our way to Stubbs Falls, and my first observation is that this is a lovely trail. It's very well maintained, and it's pretty accessible as well. Once you get to the top of the falls, there is a large staircase leading to the bridge from both sides, making this part of the trail inaccessible if you have a mobility device, stroller, or wagon, but you can kind of see the falls from the top. If you're coming down to Stubbs Falls, it offers a beautiful photo opportunity on the bridge. Just try to come in off-peak hours because then you'll have the whole place to yourself. When you cross the bridge, there is actually a trail that will take you right down to the falls. We didn't know that. We went the hard way, so if you don't want to go over a whole bunch of rocks, you can just take the trail. If you like hiking and cycling, there are many trails here at Arrowhead that you can choose from. There's actually 8 trails with approximately 20 kilometers of trails to explore. The Mayflower Trail was next on our list, and it is a 1.6 kilometer loop around the lake. There are some stairs and parts of the trail that are more difficult. We are down at Mayflower Lake, and it is so beautiful. We came at the perfect time this morning because we caught the mist over the lake. You can't have dogs here, swimming is not permitted, and there are no motorized boats allowed in this lake. There's a lovely trail that you can do here though, and the scenery is beautiful. The Lookout Trail is a 3.1 kilometer loop with some more challenging sections, steeper inclines, and rooty and rocky paths. It leads to a lovely lookout with a bench. We also found the entrance to the Beaver Meadow Trail, which is a 7 kilometer loop, and the Homesteaders Trail, which is a 3 kilometer loop. The Big Bend Lookout is a very accessible choice if you're looking for an easier or quick walk.
We are at the Big Bend Lookout and we came here bright and early this morning. It is our last day here and we have the whole place to ourselves now, but there were people here and it was 8:30 a.m. This lookout is really easy to get to. It's a nice flat trail and it's only about 400 meters from the parking lot. So that's not too far and you get beautiful views. We are down at the main beach area now, and it looks like it would be a lovely beach to swim at during the summer. Unfortunately, it's just a little bit too cold today, so I'm not going in, but it's a nice sandy beach bottom, and the lake was pretty calm. We were just down at the beach area trying to get some sunrise shots, but instead we saw 3 deer crossing the river. And it was just a beautiful experience. So if you're here at Arrowhead, get up early, head down to the main beach area. You might get some lovely shots of the sunrise, or you might see some wildlife. Lumbee North and South Campground has sites 40 to 163 and sites 101 to 163 are radio free. This is the pet exercise area here at Arrowhead. It's located in the Lumbee Campground and it's a lovely spot to bring your 4-legged friend. There's a golden retriever here right now, just loving his life. Lumbee Beach in the Lumbee Campground is a small beach and it does look like the main beach area would be much nicer, but if you are located in this campground, it would be a convenient option and there are plenty of picnic tables and it seems like a great picnic area.
Lumbee Campground also has a comfort station, but it was closed on our visit, so unfortunately I couldn't see inside. But there were showers and flush toilets for men and women.
There are 2 comfort stations in the East River Campground where we're staying. The one behind me is much newer and it has a dishwashing station, showers, and unisex washrooms for men and women. Another thing to note is that there's actually a trailer water filling station at the new comfort station, which means you can avoid going through the sanitation station to fill your trailer with water. There's an older one that's further into the campground near our site, and it's a little bit dated, but it's pretty clean and it has showers and flush toilets for men and women. One thing I really liked about the East River Campground is that it was very well signed, so it was easy to get around. In Lumbee Campground, however, the signage was not that great, and we did find ourselves getting a little lost. There are some really nice sites here in the East River Campground. I actually haven't seen a site that I've disliked while we were here in this campground specifically. They all seem very private and secluded, and it just makes it seem like you're out of the city, which is great when you're camping, and you don't really hear any road noise here, so I really enjoy that as well. Throughout the campgrounds, there are also various either flush toilets or vault toilets. The ones in our campground seem to be vault toilets, but when we were exploring Lumbee Campground and Roe, it seemed that theirs were flush. Sites 370 to 376 near the Roe Campground are all pull-through spots. These can accommodate much larger trailers, but they do seem a little bit too open for my preference. Roe Campground has sites 400 to 501.
The Roe Campground had a combination of electric and non-electric sites. Some of these sites were fairly open and small, but some of them were much larger and could accommodate bigger RVs. So take a look around for photos of sites if you're looking for something more private.
We are at the Row Campground Beach, and it seems like a beautiful beach area. It's a nice big sandy beach, so there's plenty of room to move around and set up all your gear. You can also see the main beach area and Lumbee Beach just behind me, but I think this would be a more peaceful beach experience because it's a little bit off the beaten path. While we were touring around the park, we actually noticed that there were quite a few garbage and recycling stations that you could use throughout the park, which we thought was pretty convenient because no matter where you were, you had access to garbage and recycling.
The Row Campground covered station was pretty nice. It was located centrally in the campground and had flush toilets for men and women. Showers were also available here, though when we visited, they were in need of a refresh. Next up is the park store. The park store is located centrally among all of the campgrounds, which I thought was very convenient.
We made it to the visitor center and park store, and this is also where you can get ice, firewood, and rentals.
The rental prices are listed on a sign outside of the store. Inside the visitor center and park store, we were greeted by merch as soon as we walked in, and there was also a coffee and refrigerated drink station. Plus, there was also a wildlife spotting board where I tracked our deer sighting from earlier that day. There was also a lovely outdoor area with seating and a pretty nature view.
I have to say that the Arrowhead Park Store and Visitor Center is probably the nicest park store we've seen or been to all season. And it was just so nicely laid out, and they had great stuff inside, so if you needed any essentials, they had them there, but they also had tons of souvenirs and a variety that you could choose from.
And extremely friendly staff.
Yes, definitely.
The amphitheater was located near the Lumbee campground and close to the entrance of the Homesteaders Trail.
Arrowhead has a beautiful amphitheater area, and it feels nice and secluded away from the campgrounds. They don't have any programming going on now during the fall, but they have plenty of programming during the summer months.
There was plenty of bench seating here, and I liked that the benches also had backs on them.
And now it's time for my overall thoughts of our experience here at Arrowhead Provincial Park. Let's start with what I liked about this park. I pretty much liked everything about this park. Our site was beautiful, it was nice and private, there were so many things to do around the park, lots of trails for cycling and hiking, and plenty of beaches. Although it's fall, we weren't really swimming or doing any water sports, but there was plenty to keep us busy, and it was also a perfect time to see the changing colors of the leaves. I really enjoyed how beautiful and private our site was. Most of the sites were private as well, so that's a plus about this park. If wildlife spotting is on your list of things to do, this may be the park for you because we saw so much wildlife while we were here. We saw 3 deer, a crane, a little snake, there's tons of chipmunks and squirrels, and plenty of birds to spot. The amenities at this park are great, and they keep the comfort stations and vault toilets very clean. I was also really surprised to see how new one of the comfort stations was. It looked like it was just built, and it has private individual washroom stalls, showers, and there's even a dishwashing station there, which I've never seen before at any other park. Now it's time for what I thought were the more negative aspects of this park. And the first thing I didn't like was the poor internet connection. Pretty much anywhere in this park you went, you didn't have a signal, except if you were at the front gates or the park store. So that was really inconvenient for us, but it may not be an inconvenient thing for you. The second thing I didn't really like was how poor the signage was in certain areas of the park. We ended up getting lost, and we saw numerous other people getting lost and asking for directions, so the signage could be better in some of the areas of this park. And the last thing I didn't really like about this park was how busy it gets on the weekend. Today is a Saturday and the park is completely full. There's lots of people here using their days passes, the hiking trails are busy, the beach area is busy, and it just feels very crowded. Earlier this week, it didn't feel as busy, so if you're wanting to avoid the crowds, try coming during midweek. Overall, this has been one of my favorite parks of the season, and I would say it's in my top 5. If you haven't been to Arrowhead Provincial Park, I suggest adding it to your list because this place is absolutely beautiful. Well, I hope you enjoyed seeing around Arrowhead Provincial Park and that this video can be helpful if you're planning a trip here in the future. As always, if you like this video, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe to my channel for more camping and travel videos coming soon.